So the last video looked at the grid method for multiplication. Here's another reminder of that method. It relies on partitioning of the number, so 342 multiplied by 7, and then we break down each different part to get the answer of 2,394. In this video, we're going to move on and look at what the children would do typically in year 5. It's the expanded method for short multiplication. And I'm going to use the same calculation as we have used in the previous video to show how they compare. So we've got a 3-digit number times by a 1-digit number. Now you can see here I've left the grid method calculation up so that we can see how these compare, and we do that with the children as well so that they can see what they're building on and how it progresses. The big difference with this method is that we're not partitioning the number anymore. You remember here we did partition the number. At this stage, when they're really confident with this, there is no need to partition the number because by this stage they're really clear that that is a 300, that is a 40 and that is a 2. So there's the progression straight away. The actual calculations are identical. So we're going to do 7 lots of 2, just like we did 7 lots of 2 in the grid method, and that's 14. This time we're setting it out in a more formal way. And what we'd also do here is we'd encourage the children to write at the side what calculations they're doing. So in brackets at the side, they'd write down 7 lots of 2. We're then going to do 7 lots of 40, and of course we did 7 lots of 40 in the previous calculation as well. So the calculations we're doing to get the answer are exactly the same, we're just setting out in a slightly different way, a more progressive way, because we're not having to partition the original number. So 7 lots of 40 is 280. And again, when the children are first starting to learn this method, we'd encourage them to write down what they're doing at the side so that if they do make a mistake, they can go back and try and work out where that mistake was. And then finally, we're doing 7 lots of 300, 7 lots of 300. It's not 7 lots of 3, of course, the children know that that's not a 3. 7 lots of 300 is 2,100. So we've got the calculation, we've got the working out, and then we can do the answer. And this comes back to the column addition method that they will have been taught earlier in the year. So we'd say, how many units have we got all together? How many tens have we got all together? How many hundreds have we got all together? How many thousands have we got all together? And you can see that our answer, 2,394, is exactly the same. So that was 7 lots of 300. So the calculations are exactly the same. The answer, of course, is exactly the same, but we're now starting to get in a more formal way of recording this. So it's time for you to have a go. Here's a calculation. We've got 1,473 times by 6. At this point, you can pause the video, have a go. When you've had a go, unpause the video, and you'll see the answer. So the answer, 8,838. Did you get it right? If not, you can go through line by line and see what I did. So I did 6 lots of 3 to give me 18. I did 6 lots of 70 to give me 420. I did 6 lots of 400 to give me 2,400. And I did 6 lots of 1,000 to give me 6,000. I then added up how many units I've got, how many tens I've got, how many hundreds I've got, how many thousands I've got. Now this method then becomes really, really useful for when children are taught to calculate with decimals, for example with money. So here's an example. We're doing 4 lots of £65.72. Now it comes back again to the grid method from the previous video and the partitioning, the place value. So that's not a 6, it's a £60, and that's a £5. That of course then will be 70 pence, and that would be 2 pence. So we've got the brackets to show us what they're doing. So straight away we're doing 4 lots of 2 pence. 4 lots of 2 pence is 8 pence, and we'd set it out £0, there's nothing in that column, and then we've got 8 pence. 4 lots of 70 pence is £2.80. So getting everything lined up in the correct columns is key for this. 4 lots of £5 is £20 and 0 pence, and 4 lots of £60 is £240, given the answer of £262.88. We wouldn't move the children on to calculating in this way until they're really confident with this way of calculating without decimals, so they get very used to working with the brackets, very used to showing their working out, and very used to having lots of goes at that sort of calculation. So if you have any questions on that or comments, you can email me at cbaker@arnavale.notts.sch.uk. Next up in the video series is the compact method for short multiplication, which children will be moved on to once they're completely familiar with this method.